May the words of my mouth and the meditation of our hearts be acceptable in your sight, Lord. Please be seated. A Methodist minister and an Episcopal priest were driving toward an intersection marked by yield signs on both roads. Each looked, but neither stopped, and the cars struck with a terrible crash. The cars were demolished, but amazingly, neither passenger was hurt. They crawled out of their cars, and the minister saw the priest's collar. "You're a priest." "I'm a minister." "Just look at our cars. There's nothing left, and yet we are unhurt. It's a miracle, and this must be a sign from God. He must have meant that we should meet, be friends, and live together in harmony for the rest of our days." The priest nodded. "I agree. This must be a sign from God. And here is another miracle. My car is completely demolished, yet this bottle of wine headed to church didn't break. Surely the Lord wants us to drink this wine and celebrate our good fortune." He handed the bottle to the minister. The minister, who was more used to grape juice than wine, smiled and took a healthy swig. He handed the bottle back to the priest, who took it, didn't drink, and screwed the cap back on. The minister asked, "Aren't you going to have any?" "No, thanks," replied the priest. "I'll just wait for the police." A little dark, but funny to me. I'm technically both a Methodist and an Episcopalian. I joined the Methodist Church in high school after several months of classes and memorization, and then the Episcopal Church when I married. I told the Episcopal priest officiating at our marriage and supervising my indoctrination that I could not renounce the Methodist Church to get married and share a common church with my wife. He said, "Why would you? We're just here to reinforce your faith." That was a great answer, and I've been an Episcopalian ever since. But there are serious divisions in the church today throughout our country. They are so severe that many young people hear one extreme or the other and avoid attending any. Even within the church, there have been some who are so wrapped up in politics, they lose Christianity, and Paul would be disappointed. Certainly Jesus is. "Follow me, and I will make you fish for people." Jesus did not specify which people. The more he taught, the more it became clear to Peter and Paul and the other followers that Jesus cared about all people. I never knew the denomination of my first church somewhere in rural Washington. It was a great church, but I was too young to know or care. We moved to Oregon after that, and the nearest church to our house in Gold Beach was Presbyterian, so we joined. People were nice, Sunday school was fun, and I was intrigued by the old man who puttered around outside and inside. Scouts were important to me as a boy. Services were held in the woods every Sunday. Your friends went. Services were fun, meaningful, and relatively short. Denominations weren't a big part of it. When I joined the Coast Guard and began to go to sea on cutters with between 70 and 200 people in each crew, there were not enough to split the services into denominations. You gathered, worshiped, and sometimes sorted out the bad things that had just happened. Most rescues were successful, but not all. Some were horrific. The worst cases were what my wife used to call mommies and babies cases, before she banned my discussing them. But on land or sea, first responders have to discuss them with someone if they are to stay healthy, and at sea there are no counselors. As Christians, we inevitably strive to understand God's purpose when lives are lost despite all prayer and action, and all you needed was just a second more for circumstances to be just a little different. So on each cutter, our little church group would pray, read the Bible, and discuss and help each other puzzle through what had just happened without denominations. It was hard because at sea all people matter. On land they do too, but at sea all sailors know that everyone matters. There are too few people per square mile to believe anything else. You need each other. I've fished people out of the water who belong to every nationality, race, religion, gender, and age. Not exactly what Jesus was talking about today, but if you're a non-believer After you've been fished out, you tend to have an awakening. Paul and Jesus were saying in different ways that everyone matters and our divisions do not. Yet there are some people who can really get under your skin. But they still matter. And divisions that matter to them may recede when they realize that it is people that matter to you. I'm not talking about giving up on your views or being silent when silence is not what Jesus would wish. I'm talking about listening and loving and helping everyone, even the difficult ones. And I'm not just talking about Christians. We're here to help those who need it most. Those who are not Christian are often drowning. Life is hard and they need help. Unlike those of us here today, they lack a safety net. Saving a life is good. It buys people a second chance. Saving a soul is better. That rescue lasts eternally. Our pews are not empty, but think of the people who should be here and aren't. They might be waiting for something as simple as your invitation or mine. Come to church with me. You'd love it. Although denomination is not what matters to Paul or Jesus, if we do extend such an invitation, the church will grow in Maine, and our church will grow in Thomaston. Today there will be a quick annual meeting here at St. John's right after the 10 o'clock service. We're going to talk about a few hard realities after COVID and where we want to be as a church. But as we head home, first and foremost, let's go fish for people. We don't have to do it by shouting from a street corner. We're Episcopalians after all. But we do have to have the courage and strength to do it. And if we do shout from a street corner, remember that actions speak louder than words. We all sin, we all screw up, we all fail. But being patient, being loving, and being present with Jesus as our guide when others need help can go a long way when someone is in need of a rescue. We're not going to get out of this world alive. Make the most of your days. Try to make the rescues around you that count. Fish for people. Amen.